Namaste, yogis. Sesa here. So we're going to go through another hour yin and yang class per usual, but beforehand, my big brother Tamal, he recently picked up a new hobby. He does moonlight stand-up comedy, so he wanted to try out some new jokes on you guys. So I'll be right back. I'm going to go get him.
Hey guys, how's it going? Kind of nervous. So I'm going to be doing some jokes on you and see what you think. I think they're pretty solid. This is a good one. I bought some shoes from a drug dealer. It's already good already. I don't know what they laced them with, but I was tripping all day. It's getting ya. What did the poo say to the fart? You blow me away. Solid act, I'm killing it already. Why did the bagel struggle in yoga? Couldn't find a center. Did you know French fries weren't actually cooked in France? They were cooked in Greece. Yeah, food for thought. What does the yoga teacher want for their birthday? Your presents. Yeah. What do you say at the end of a squirrel yoga class? Namaste. My wife recently accused me of being immature, so I said, "Get out of my fort." This one's for Chris Yates, if he's watching. I run a yoga meditation center for angry donkeys. It's called Peace and Ass. You never really appreciate what you have until it's gone. Toilet paper is a good example. I'm worried that I'm not that good at yoga because some days I just feel like a poser. I know, this is going to be long. You guys better pack a lunch, get out some popcorn. Poop jokes aren't my favorite, but they're a solid number 2. This next one's for Alex Nashton, if you're watching. Why did the yogi return the vacuum? Because it came with too many attachments. What did JJ tell his mom when she wanted to leave halfway through a yoga class? Namaste. Yeah. I'll be back. Actually, I'll be down the street here in Wilmington every Saturday night at the 12 midnight shift if you want to catch me. The place is closed down, so I'm just standing out front with this. All right.
Great. I don't know. Get our yoga on, get the props, do all the things. Oh. Now that we've got that out of our system, let's go ahead and start off child's pose. So if you just want to sit towards the back of your mat on the tops of the feet and the shins, big toes touch, the knees can touch as well unless you prefer to have them open a comfortable distance apart. Arms can extend forward or down the sides of your body. Just allowing yourself to find a sense of release, letting go, surrender. And just really working your way into the present moment. Checking in with your breath. Slowing it down. And then together, we'll consciously let go of a nice long exhale. And then take a nice deep inhale through the nose. Send that breath to the hook of your tailbone. Feel your ribs expand out horizontally. And then open up your mouth. Let's take another long, slow, deep inhale. Fill from the bottom to the top and hold your breath. Unless you're pregnant, you always want to keep breathing. And then open up your mouth and audibly let it go. One more deep inhale through the nose to hold. This time, keeping the lips sealed, good, and slowly just exhale out the nose. And then just continue to breathe as slow and as deep as you can, just in and out your nose. And just notice how doing that, you have the slight whisper of a breath, but if you have something a little bit more prominent in your practice, like Ujjayi Pranayama, feel free to tap into it. But if not, if you're with me, on your next inhale, let's go ahead and slowly extend the arms long to the front of the mat. Open your hands up, shoulders distance apart. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Take a nice deep inhale. As you exhale, downward dog. We'll lift the hips, tuck the toes. Press your heels towards the earth. So feel free to pedal out your feet. Maybe come up and down on your toes a few times. Get any fidgeting out of the way. Make sure you do check in with the hands. They should have landed jetting straight out from the shoulders. Ideally, it's the index and middle fingers that point straight forward. But eventually, you'll let the head and neck relax. Looking back at the feet, let them rest, hips distance apart. The heels spin back and just slightly out so they disappear behind the toes. And then even if you have to bend the knees, I want you to lift the hip creases straight up to the sky, trying to get those hips as elevated as they can be. Knit the front ribs and even the sternum bone slightly in so you're not dumping or caving into the upper back. You want to maintain and accentuate the natural curves and convexes of your spine as you now just play with pressing the tops of your thighs straight back to help anchor the heels down. And then keeping your head and neck relaxed, let's just consciously think about the hands. Can you lift just your fingertips up off the mat? So you ground down to the whole circumference of your palm, and then as you spread your fingers wide, you want to fan them into the mat with each knuckle ending with the fingertips. Now keep your hands as they are, but you're going to protract the shoulder blades, hug them to the outer rib cage. That's going to also help wrap the triceps back, and then I want you to think of lifting the forearms forward. And then with an inhale, let's come forward, high plank or top of a push-up, just lowering your hips in line with the shoulders. Drive your heels back. Firm your thigh bones up towards the ceiling, but at the same time, you want to keep those hips level with the shoulder blades, even if you have to drop to the knees for modification. Wherever you're at, add the slightest tuck to the tailbone so you can pull your lower belly in. Wrists, elbows, shoulders stacked. Push down into your hands so the chest and the back of your head actually lift up. The collarbone tries to broaden through the gateway of your arms. Take a nice deep inhale. As you exhale, downward dog, just lift your hips. Inhale, come forward, high plank. And exhale, downward dog, lift your hips. Now we'll take that a step further in intensity. Inhale to high plank. From high plank, tighten up the belly. You're just going to lift your right foot about an inch up off the ground, flex to the heel. Make sure your right hip doesn't drop in space. You want to keep it level with the left. Press evenly into both hands. Try to keep the face soft. And then setting the right foot down, we'll lift the left foot up just an inch. So you should be able to stack maybe 8 quarters between your big toe and the mat. Keep the head up, push into the hands, keep the chest away from the mat, pull the belly in. And then set your left foot down. Exhale, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Now let's inhale, come forward, high plank. If you need to drop to the knees, use them. I want you to lean your shoulders forward, and with an exhale, just lower halfway down. Don't go lower than your elbows. And then inhale, push up, high plank. Exhale, downward dog, lift your hips. Now inhale, come forward, high plank. As you lean out, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, maybe up dog if you're feeling ready for that. Exhale, roll over the toes, lift the hips, downward dog. Now from downward dog, let's inhale, come forward, high plank. So I just want you to take your right big toe and stack it on top of your left heel. Keep the feet as they are. You're gonna lean your shoulders forward. Exhale, go halfway down, belly tight. Inhale, press your arms straight. Now keep the feet, but lift your hips. Use that right foot to press your heel a little closer to the ground. Lift through the hip creases, relax the head and neck. And then inhale, come forward, high plank. Leaning out, exhale, halfway down. Inhale, straight back up, and exhale, press the heel down as you lift the hips up. We have one more like that. Inhale, high plank. Keep those toes stacked as you lean out, exhale, halfway down. Inhale, straight back up. Exhale, lift the hips, heel presses closer. Now inhale that right leg to the sky, flex to the heel, lead with the inner right thigh, relax the head and neck. And then with an exhale, you're gonna pull that knee down and across to your left elbow, find a little bit of a twist. Inhale, extend the leg up and back. Exhale, pull the knee back to your left elbow. Inhale, stretch it for the sky. On your own, breath per movement, back and forth. Begin to feel it within your obliques. Find that internal rotation of the femur bone. Feel it, the heat building in the shoulders. And then with an inhale, we'll lift the leg up. As you exhale, pull the knee to your chest, look forward and gently step next to your right thumb. Pop up onto the fingertips of your hands. You want to think of cobra, up dog in the shoulders, lengthening the spine forward. Drive your left heel back, firm the left thigh up. Now pull the lower belly in and just reach your right arm forward as if you're reaching out to shake somebody's hand. Notice that the right shoulder lifted higher than the left. Try to level it out. Wrap your right tricep towards the mat. Pulling the belly in, energizing through the back leg. If your left hand can get light enough to reach your left arm forward, be my guest. Try not to lift the chest, but pull the belly away from your thigh. Wrap the triceps towards the earth. Eventually your palms may even begin to shine up. And then without lifting the head or chest, lift your arms up a little bit higher. Take an inhale. As you exhale, left hand to the mat. We'll circle the right arm up to the sky and take a twist. So left heel pushes straight back through the big toe. Left thigh bone lifts up towards the ceiling. As that right hip hugs back, you also want to sink it forward and down as if you're trying to get that right sit bone to touch your heel. Press into the left palm, roll your left shoulder blade away from the ear, and then lengthen your left ribs forward into that. Now try and twist the left side ribs towards the inner right thigh to lean your torso back just a bit more. Take an inhale. As you exhale, right hand to the mat, let's lift the left leg to the sky, vertical splits. Relax the head and neck. Flex that back foot, toes pull towards your face. Crown of the head pulls towards your right big toe. Notice if the left hip is rolling up or just sagging towards the mat, you want to level it out with the right. Pull your belly in to support the spine. And then breathe. I just want you to bend your standing leg so much that your torso lays on top of it. Notice if your back leg did the same thing. Kick that back leg strong. Pull the belly in. Now think cobra, up dog in your shoulders as you peel your hands up to heart center for a bent knee warrior 3. Keep that standing leg nice and bent. Deeper the better. Maybe bend it a little more. And then press up to standing, left foot next to right as you lift the chest. Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, arms fall before they rise. Tadasana. Exhale, forward fold. Lead with the heart. Hinge at the hips. Go all the way down. Inhale, halfway up. As you exhale, plant the hands, step. Maybe jump back if you're feeling ready for it. Chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog. And exhale, downward dog. Now from downward dog, we inhale to high plank. This is where it starts. You're going to stack your left big toe on top of your right heel. Drive both heels back evenly as you lean forward. Exhale, halfway down. Inhale, straighten the arms. Keep the feet, lift your hips. Use that left foot to press the right heel closer. And then inhale, come forward. Lean forward, exhale, halfway down. Inhale, straighten the arms, and exhale, downward dog, using that left foot. Inhale, last one, drift forward. Leaning forward, exhale, halfway down. Inhale, straighten the arms. Exhale, lift the hips, relax the head and neck. Now just lift your left leg up to the sky. Keep that inner thigh leading towards the ceiling so those legs still kind of cross at the midline of your body. With an exhale, you'll pull the knee down and over to your right elbow. Make sure your left shoulder doesn't shoot forward. Inhale, extend the leg up and back. Exhale, pull the knee to your right arm. Inhale, stretch it high. On your own, just like we did on the other side. Breathe in and out your nose, and however long or slow your breath is, the movement will follow, or vice versa, right? And then with an inhale, we'll kick that leg up. Exhale, pull the knee to your chest. Look forward so you can step forward, foot next to the left thumb. Cup on to the fingertips of your hands. Cobra up dog in your shoulders. Think a high plank in that back leg. Deep runner's lunge in the front leg. And then you just reach your left arm forward, extending from those left fingertips as you hug your left hip back. Try and create more space between the left hip crease and your left fingertips. Pull the belly tight, maybe lift into the right thigh. And if you can hover the right hand, then you can probably reach it forward. Make sure the left hip hugs back. It doesn't pop out. Make sure your front knee stays stacked at the center of your ankle. Your back leg stays participating. Wrap your triceps down. And then without lifting the head or chest, just lift the arms a little higher. Add some traction. And then exhale, right hand to the mat. Circle the left arm up towards the sky. If you did it on the other side, you can take the arm up and overhead, but drive into the right heel. Lift your right thigh away from the ground as if I just sat on it like a bench, right? And then as your left hip sinks forward, you want to hug it in, but make sure your knee stacks at the center of your ankle. Right palm either pushes into the mat or a block. Roll the right shoulder blade away from the ears, and then collide your right rib cage forward into that. Twist the right side ribs towards the inner left thigh. You're trying to lean away from the top of your left leg. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, left hand down, back leg up, vertical splits. Flex those back toes immediately. Relax your head and neck. Check in with the back ridge of your pelvis. You want it to be neutral. The left thigh is pressing back, even if your knee is bent and your belly pulls in away from it as well. Just hanging out for a moment. Maybe even nodding the head yes, shaking it no. And then as you're ready, you'll bend your standing leg deeply. Let your torso fall on top of it. Look at the back leg. Make sure it's still straight and strong. And then as you're ready, cobra up dog your chest as you pull your hands up to heart center. That bent knee, warrior 3. Keep the back leg actively participating. Hug the left hip in. Maybe bend the standing leg a little more. And then without touching the right foot next to the left, just press yourself up to standing, lifting the chest. And then set the foot down. Inhale, Tadasana. Circle your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Let it go. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, plant the hand, step or jump. Chaturanga in your own time. We'll meet in downward dog. Now from downward dog, let's go ahead and inhale the right leg to the sky. Flex to the heel. Exhale, pull the knee down and across to your left elbow. Now listen carefully. You're going to slide that right foot to the pinky-toed edge of your left foot, so crossing at the ankles, and then lift your hips up and back. Relax the head and neck. Toes are still tucked. Breathe. Hug that right hip back. And then inhale your left leg to the sky, flex through the heel. Exhale, lunge the foot to the outer edge of your left hand at the front of your mat. And drop the back knee, keep the toes tucked, press into the palms to lift and lengthen the spine, sink the hips down. Now notice the 90-degree angle in that left leg. You want to keep that there. Step your right foot to the outer edge of your right hand. Both knees stay bent. Don't let your hips drop to your heels like Malasana. Keep them out level with the hips. Pull the belly tight. Press the hip creases back, and then just reach your arms straight forward. Palms face each other. Nice long spine. And then I want you to begin of curling your tailbone to the space between your heels as you begin to lift the chest. Try to reach your arms up as high as you can. Push your knees out over the pinky-toed edge of your feet. Breathe. And then inhale, press up to standing, grow as tall as you can. Exhale, pull the hands through heart center, Samasthiti. Inhale, Tadasana, arms circle to the sky. And exhale, forward fold, let it go. Inhale, halfway up. As you exhale, plant the hand step, maybe jump back, chaturanga. Inhale, find your back bend. Exhale, downward dog. From downward dog, let's inhale the left leg to the sky. As you exhale, pull the knee to your right elbow underneath and across the body. So again, you're just gonna step that foot back to the pinky-toed edge of your right foot and lift the hips up. Hug the left hip back, try and level it out with the right. Just kind of crossing the legs at the midline, twisting the femur bones. And then inhale your right leg up. Exhale, lunge the foot to the outer edge of your right hand. Keep the back toes tucked, but just drop the knees, sink the hips down as you press into the palms to lift the chest. Pull the belly tight. Now gently bring your left foot to the outer edge of your left hand. Remember, hips stay low, knees press out, spine just lengthens straight out of your hips, and then you reach your arms forward. Breathe. Try to get light on the toes so your weight's really in the base of your feet. And then try to lift the chest up, reach your arms up, tuck the tailbone down, pull the belly in, breathe. And then inhale, press up to standing, grow tall. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, Tadasana, reach for the sun. Exhale, bow forward towards the earth. Inhale, glancing out. Exhale, Chaturanga with stability, a back bend with strength, and downward dog with grace. From downward dog, let's inhale the right leg to the sky. Bend the knee, pull the heel towards the bottom as you roll your right hip open towards the ceiling. If your right shoulder goes along for the ride, make sure you wrap that outer right rib cage and shoulder down, keeping the torso square. Now finding the tippy toes of your back foot. Exhale, pull the knee to your chest, look forward and step in between the hands. Turning your back heel down, lead with your left arm, warrior two. We'll come on up. So lining your front heel up with the center of the back arch is very traditional, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're feeling a little crowded in the back of your pelvis, try lining front heel to back heel. Make sure the back toes do turn forward at least 10 degrees. Front knee stacked at the center of your ankle. You want to push it out to the right so you can see your big toe. Draw the tailbone down, pull the belly in. Floating the arms just above your shoulders, and even though you're lifting them, you're actively pushing them down, trying to get the shoulders to glue down the back, turning on your lats. And then as you karate chop your arms back, don't let them go back because you just pull them further apart. Focus over your front hand. Flip your right palm up, inhale, reach it up, reverse warrior. Keep your back hand light, definitely away from the knee. Top arm straight as can be. Rather than bending your elbow to reach back, I want you to let your right leg go forward and think of lifting your right hip bone away from the top of your thigh. Take a nice deep inhale to the whole right side body. Keep that length. Exhale, right forearm to right thigh. Left arm will go up and overhead, a modified extended side angle. So ground down to the pinky-toed edge of your back foot. In that right forearm, the palm should face up. You push your forearm into the leg so you can roll your right shoulder blade away from the ear. And again, lengthen your right ribs forward into that. That top arm, the palm faces the mat, and you're wrapping the tricep to the face. Hug the front ribs in. Now, if this is enough, stay here. If you want a little bit more, you can reach your right arm forward. Unsupported side angle, palms face each other. So wherever you're at with the arms, I want you to just look 12 inches in front of your right foot. And like a firework, you're gonna pop open. Right hand down, left arm and leg lift, half moon. Flex that back foot. Spin your inner left thigh down towards your right leg to anchor that top leg into the pelvis. Lift your inner thigh up towards the ceiling. Expand the arms apart, not just by broadening your collarbones, but even try to broaden the shoulders away from each other. Micro bend in that standing leg so it's buoyant, stamping heavy into your right big toe. Breathe. Take a deep inhale. Little bend in that right knee. Exhale, left hand to the mat. Square off your left hip. Vertical splits. We've been here before. Relax your head and neck. Flex the back heel. And then crawling your hands about 12 inches in front of the right foot. Cup the earth with the fingertips. Think flat back, halfway up. So left hand can stay where it is unless you want to place it on a prop. Place your right palm to your tailbone to make sure the hips stay level, and then lift the tip of your right shoulder up as much as you can. And once you can't twist anymore, you might reach your right arm up, but that's an unnecessary step. Your hand could stay on your pelvis the whole time. Lift the left hip point away from the ground so that hip doesn't just sag. The left leg is actively participating rather than you just holding up dead weight. Breathe. Take a nice deep inhale, maybe look up. Exhale, right hand to the mat. Relax the head and neck. Lift your left heel a little higher. Now you're going to cross your left ankle behind the right, meeting pinky toe to pinky toe in the feet. Walk both hands off to the right. So kind of taking that same shape we did in downward dog, but hugging the left hip back. If this is a lot in that left leg, you can bend the knee a little bit so the back leg can bend. The further you can crawl your left hand, the more you'll feel it in the lateral side of your body. And inhale, walk your hands to center. You'll uncross the left ankle, just bring big toe next to big toe. Inhale, think flat back. Exhale, plant the hands, step, maybe jump back or skip it all together. We'll meet in downward facing dog. And from downward facing dog, just take a few breaths. In and out your nose. And then together, we'll take a nice deep inhale through the nose, holding that breath at the very top. Open up the mouth. The next one will be more like a lion's breath. Take a nice deep inhale through the nose to hold. Stick out your tongue. And then just go back to breathing in and out your nose. Now, if you're still with me, let's go ahead and inhale the left leg to the sky. Bend the knee, heel pulls to the bottom. The left knee and hip lift towards the ceiling, but the outer left shoulder stays square to the mat. Relax the head and neck. Now find the tippy toes of your back foot. Lift the hips a little more. Exhale, pull the knee to your chest. Look forward to step in between the hands. Back heel turns down. We lead with the right arm, warrior two, come on up. So remember, heel to arch or heel to heel, that's a matter of preference. The back toes turning forward at least 10 degrees, but they could go a little more as for the protection of your groin. You want that right femur bone anchoring into the hips. So your inner right thigh can actually wrap back as the inner left thigh draws forward. Push the knee out to the left by hugging those left glutes in. Tuck your tailbone down as the rest of your spine lifts. The arms are actively going in every direction except in front of you. You can focus over your front hand, find a dristi or a focal point. Flip the left palm up, inhale, reach it up, reverse warrior. As the right leg slides down the hand, work your left leg forward, lift your left hip away from the top of your thigh to extend your torso back. Keep the top arm straight as can be. Draw the right shoulder under the left so you find a side stretch rather than a back bend. Take an inhale. Exhale, left forearm to left thigh. Take the right arm up and overhead pretty much immediately. Extended side angle. So grounding down to the knife edge of your back foot to extend through your top fingertips. Right tricep tugs down. Left forearm pushes into your leg. Create space between your left shoulder and the ear. Roll it down the back. Lengthen your left ribs away from your hip crease. Pull the belly tight. And then slowly reaching the left arm forward if you did it on the other side, taking that unsupported version. The hardest part here is don't let your knee knock in. And of course, don't straighten the leg yet. Soften your face. However you're out the arms, look 12 inches in front of your left foot. And like a firework, you're going to pop open. Left hand down, right arm and leg lift. Flex that back foot. Energize the back leg, wrap the inner right thigh down, and then lift your inner thigh up to the inner ankle. Hug your outer left hip back as you push your left thigh back. Left ribs lengthen forward, front ribs knit together. Arms expand apart. You're pressing heavy into that left big toe. Breathe in and out your nose. Take a deep inhale. Little bend to that left leg. Exhale, right hand down. Roll your right hip down, vertical splits. Just for a moment, check in with your back leg. Flex the foot. Try to get the heel at least level with your glute. And then crawl your hands about 12 inches in front of your left foot. Think flat back halfway up. Lengthen the spine out of your right heel, kicking back. Right hand stays where it is or on a prop. Left palm can go to the tailbone, lifting the tip of your left shoulder up, but make sure those hips stay level, and then maybe reach your left arm up. Keep the back leg active. Hug the left hip back. Push your left thigh back. Lower belly pulls in. The longer you can get the spine, the more twist you'll get. Eventually the shoulders stack. Eventually you might even look up past your left hand. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, left hand to the mat. Vertical splits, relax the head and neck. Inhale, lift that right heel a little higher. And then exhale, cross your right ankle behind the left, pinky toe to pinky toe. You'll walk your hands off to the left, maybe bending the back leg, which at this point is your right. Hugging your right hip back. As you crawl your right hand further, you might feel even a nice stretch to the right lateral side of your body. Then inhale, walk your hands to center. Uncross the right ankle, big toe to big toe. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, plant the hands. Chaturanga, take your vinyas. We'll meet in downward dog. From downward dog, let's take a nice deep inhale through the nose, holding that breath at the very top. Stick out the tongue. Take another long, slow, deep inhale through the nose to hold. Open up the mouth and just sigh it out. And then as you're ready, go ahead and lift the right leg to the sky. As you exhale, you're going to pull the knee to your left elbow and kick the leg straight out to the side of the room. You're going to rest on the knife edge of your right foot. Now begin to slowly bend your arms. Let your right hip touch down. Maybe you come to your forearms. Maybe you lay all the way out. Forearms stack, your elbow rests. So if you're super tight, you can allow the back toes to untuck and turn the toes out to the left as well. But ideally the toes stay tucked, the heel presses back. And you want to wrap your left hip towards your inner right thigh. You're going to get into that right IT band again, right? So you can very much just stay here. If you want to add a layer, you're going to take your left arm and reach it out to the right, underneath your right armpit, letting your head just hang to the mat. Right hand can stay up as a prop. You could reach it out in front of you. You might even try to wrap your right hand onto the lower back to that left hip. But it's just a matter of doing what your body can do, closing your eyes, and then just sitting with your breath. So the IT band is a band that's made of fascia or connective tissues, and it tends to be very, very tight by nature. And so we're just trying to create a little bit of stimulation to help with strength, flexibility. But as a result of its tightness, oftentimes things like this can be a little bit challenging. So just breathe. Trying to stay as still as possible, wherever you ended up. So listen carefully. You're going to slide your right hand back so you can press up into that right arm, slide your left arm back out. Take your time. Now let your left knee come to the mat, and you're just going to begin to turn to your left, and we're going to end up in like a 90-90, bending your right knee and the left, letting the hips kind of level out. If that right knee is sticking way off the mat, pull the foot into the groin so the knee can go down. If your left hip or glute cramps up, pull the heel a little closer to your butt. And then as you feel ready, just cupping the earth in front of your right foot, you're going to round your spine out and begin to curl your body forward. Sit with that for a moment, see how that feels. If you want to begin to take it a little bit further, you might try walking your hands to the right so your torso is actually folding more over the center of your inner right thigh, depending on how far your body can revolve or twist. So this is called deer pose in yin. But we're getting an external rotation within that right leg, an internal rotation within the left. Folding, maybe twisting in the spine, depending on how far you're taking it. And just allowing your body to soften, go passive. Resting your forehead, whether it's on a pillow, your forearms, a block, if it doesn't get to the mat. So without rushing it, I like to exit these poses on an exhale so I can use the belly pulling in to support the spine as it gently rolls up, vertebrae by vertebrae, stepping up onto your hands. Take your hands behind you, leaning back, and you'll just bring both legs out and let your knees tick-tock side to side, kind of flossing out the hips. And then as you're ready, you'll lean into your right hip, bring your hands to the front of your mat, step back, downward facing dog, and we'll work our way into the other side. So go ahead and lift the left leg up to the sky. Exhale, pull the knee to your right elbow, kick the leg straight out, rest on the knife edge of your foot, slowly let the hip drop as you bend into the elbows, maybe dropping to the forearms. So the goal is to keep the left leg as straight as possible. If you're tight, and generally we're always tighter on one side than we are on the other, that back foot by all means can untuck and the toes turn to the right. But if the toes stay tucked and the heel presses back, I really want you to try to wrap that outer right hip down to the inner left thigh. Closing the eyes, trying to maybe take that right arm underneath you. If you did it on the other side, that left arm, remember, it can stay put as a little prop. It could reach out in front of you, or maybe even wrap up onto your right hip, depending on the degree of movement your body can handle. Head stays heavy on the mat, on a block, on a pillow. And you just kind of hang out and breathe. So something you hear a lot in yoga is breathe into your hamstring or breathe into your hip. So as you lie here with your eyes closed, I want you to actually try to breathe all the way down into your right heel. How long can you make your breath? And however long your inhale is, can you be sure that exhale is the same amount of time, if not even just a little bit longer? And then we're gonna slide that left hand underneath the shoulder so we can press up into that left palm, release the right arm. Just bend your right knee, pull the heel towards the bottom as you sit your right hip down. You'll bend your left knee into that 90-90 shape, right? So ideally both hips stay level, and that front knee, your left knee should be in the mat. And then as you're ready, hands are straight out in front of the hips, you'll curl your spine as you drop to your forearms, folding over that front leg. If you want, you can begin to crawl your hands off to the left, rotating and twisting your torso over the middle of that right thigh. Kind of a surrendered deer pose, if you will. Keep your face soft. Breath deep. Try not to give into any fidgeting of the body. Readjusting. Just try to breathe through the moments of discomfort that may arise. And at this point, just begin to notice if maybe your left foot is tingling as if it were falling asleep. Breathe past that. And then with your next exhale, you'll pull the belly in, rounding through the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, as you walk your hands up. Take your hands behind you, lean into the hips so you can bring the legs out. Windshield wash the knees side to side. And then go ahead and work your way to laying flat on your back. Once you're flat on the back, you'll hug the right knee into the chest and let the left leg go long onto the mat. Open your right arm out like a wing, palm face up. Look to the right as you pull the leg across to the left. Your left hip will lift and scoot underneath you a couple inches. So by all means, if this is enough, stay here. If you want to add a layer, you're going to bend your bottom leg, which is your left leg, the straight leg. Reach down with your right hand, grab the foot, pulling it towards your bottom. Try and get the knee to point straight out from your hip. If that layer is enough, you can stay. If you want to go further, you might straighten your right leg out, grabbing the outer edge of your calf, ankle, or foot. Try to weigh the right shoulder heavy. Your glands can stay up straight up to the ceiling or over your right shoulder, but whatever direction your head is looking, just close the eyes. Watch your breath. As every inhale travels through the nose, down the back of your throat. Try to get it to travel the length of your spine. breathing past the bottom of your lungs all the way to the hook of the tailbone. And then as you exhale, just feel that breath travel back up the spine, pressing out the crown of your head. And then you'll go ahead and slowly release the bottom foot, straighten the leg, rebend the right knee as you hug it into the chest, come flat on the back. As your right leg slides out, you'll hug the left knee in. The left arm opens up like a wing, look to the left, twist to the right. The right hip should lift and slide underneath you, especially if you want to take those next steps. The first one being just bending the right knee, reaching down with your left hand and grabbing the foot. Maybe you straighten out the top leg, even if you can only grab the outer edge of your calf or ankle. Letting the left shoulder stay heavy. Glance can be up to the ceiling or over the left shoulder if it's okay within the cervical spine. Closing your eyes. So this is a version of what is known as cat pulling its tail. I've never seen a cat pull its tail like this, I'm to be honest. But that's what they call it. But the name of the pose doesn't matter. And so that's one thing you'll find in yin is that the poses are very much the same as what we would do in a power yoga class. The names have been changed, but more importantly, it's our attitude towards the poses. So rather than going from that place of force or trying and giving in all this effort, we get into the pose and then we just allow the pose to do the work. Take a few more deep breaths in whatever version of the twist you're in. And then if you're holding onto that bottom foot, gently release it. We'll slowly rebend the left knee, hug it into the chest, come flat on the back. Hug both knees into the chest. Try to grab hold of opposite elbows over your shins. You'll bring your forehead to meet your knees. Take one last deep breath and hold this breath. Allow it to be the last active thing you do. Hold it longer than you think you can. And then exhale, release, and sprawl open. Legs go long, arms fall out and away from the sides of your body. As always, feel free to take the time to set this savasana up. In yin, they call it the pentacle pose. The body sprawls open, finding the ultimate sense of release. A place where the body gets to literally absorb all of the benefits of every single pose you just went through. The mind gets to step aside fully, not having to think about responsibilities, obligations, or even worrying about where the body's going, what it's doing, how it's feeling. The body and the mind, they get to rest. And it gives us the same opportunity. So can you, the soul, step aside, letting go of the body and the mind, and just have as close to an out-of-body experience as you can get. Finding the ultimate sense of release as you set yourself free. The search for knowledge and truth is difficult. But applying that knowledge and truth is even more so. Quote from Jagat Guru, my spiritual teacher. One of the wonderful things about practicing asana is it kind of opens the doors as a gateway or a stepping stone into all the different spiritual universal truths that yoga deals with. Things like the answers to the very deep questions of who am I beyond the body and the mind? What is my purpose? Is there a God? Is there not a God? And if there is, what is my function? And if you really begin to deepen your quest after this knowledge, oftentimes, especially in today's day and age, it can be a difficult one, as people like to makeshift, take little bits of what they like and then leave out the things that they don't. So if you can really find a true vein of yogic philosophy, the application is a little bit harder to follow. And that is why so many people have tried to change or take bits and pieces of yoga and then leave the rest behind, because it is difficult. It requires us to look far beyond the surface of our skin, the definition of our muscles, but to the things we eat, the way we treat all other living entities, the people we hang out with, the music we listen to, right? Everything that pieces together our day-to-day environment generally is affected. And we tend to be so stuck in our comfort zone of how we've been living for the last 20, 30, 50, 70 years. But to make a shift, a deep ontological change can be difficult. But if you can make those changes and begin to apply what is in the yoga system, it's always for the better. The soul blooms from the inside out. So on that note, I'm going to give you the opportunity to lay here in Savasana for however long you'd like, maybe meditating on that. If not, hopefully it's something that you take with you and work with beyond the rubber mat. But on that note, namaste, I'll see you soon.